got the swag, pot of them. Shorty having drip, proud of them. Put it on the jet, out of here. 2024, out here. Paramedics, killing them. Stepping on their necks, I'm really him. Louis leather vest, trim, running up.
What's good, YouTube? Today's guest is not by any means an overnight success, and he's definitely not one of those type of guys that's been in the right place at the right time. With over a decade of experience spanning through high school and collegiate basketball, my guest has made his mark as a proven leader in the player development, recruiting, program success, from helping lead championship runs in the CIAA, which is my favorite conference, by the way, and developing athletes and future college players. His track record speaks loud and it speaks clear. Currently, my guest he's the head women's basketball coach at St. Francis University. He's working at the collegiate level, bringing his expertise in scouting, game planning, and player development to one of the top competitive stages in the game of basketball. Before that, he led the varsity women's program at Riverdale Baptist School to a 2011 season, multiple tournament titles, and a top 10 state ranking, all of that while still sending players to the next level. His journey also includes impactful stops at Livingstone College, where he helped guide the program to conference championships, as well as Virginia Union and Chesapeake College, developing players into winners and program cornerstones along the way. From implementing high-level offensive systems, such as systems like the read and react, the dribble drive, stuff of that nature. My guy is no stranger to the X's and O's. He mentors players, collegiate careers, and he brings complete blueprint for success both on and off the court. So whether you're a coach, whether you're a player, or just a fan of the game, get ready to tap into a wealth of knowledge and experience. My guy, Coach Raphael McNeill. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, man. Hey, listen, you made me feel like I'm in the league. Good gracious. I appreciate you, man. That was an amazing introduction, man. I'm so happy and blessed and fortunate to be here with you, man. We go way back, and I'm just so excited.
Yes, sir.
To
Yes, sir. We definitely go way back, man. And we talk all the time about back in the day. We're talking over 20 years. What was it?
Yeah.
What year was it that we met in college?
It had to been 98, 97, 98.
Yeah, it was about 90, 97, 98, around that time. Yeah, and we, back then we was hooping. All we wanted to do was hoop back in the day. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every gym that was popping, we was up in there.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing alleys and everything else. That's when we had good knees back in the day.
Great knees.
Yeah, but before I tap into some of the things that you got going on now, let's I just wanted to get your opinion. What you think about the NBA playing game so far?
Man, let me tell you something. They've been ready to rock and roll, starting with the Hornets and Heat.
Indeed.
Crazy game with some real controversial stuff with
yeah,
LaMelo and Bam. That was amazing. Last night, the Suns and I'm sorry, not the Suns, but Golden State and Portland. That was amazing.
Right.
They really hungry. So this is the time where the cream rises to the top, so to speak. So I'm
for sure.
Locked in.
For sure, man. What do you think about that situation with Melo and Bam? You think Melo should have finished the game? Because how you feel about that? I know Spoelstra was hot, and you can't blame him. He's standing up for his guy. But yeah, I think that was some bullshit. What you think about that?
I think I'm torn. I think my man LaMelo did it on purpose, but I don't think he intended for Bam to get hurt. I think it was one of them things where he was like, man, let me go ahead and do this, and then we just will keep hooping. But
right.
Him doing this caused Bam not to be able to play, which in turn caused the game to shift in terms of the wins and losses. I think if he had it all to do all over again, I don't think he would have done that. But I just think he made a mistake. I don't think he intended for it to be as severe as it was. But again, if I'm Spoelstra, I don't want to hear none of that shit. I'm like,
none of that.
I ain't trying to hear none of that. You need to go. My man is out. Y'all man need to be out.
Yeah, for sure. As a coach, we definitely understand, when we see coaches making statements like that, and from a standpoint, because now as a coach, we don't watch the game like a normal person would watch it, like we used to watch when we used to play the game. We watch it, we're watching all the small details, out of bounds plays, the sets. We're in a room with a bunch of coaches, we're all on the same page, but if we're on the couch and we're watching with people that don't coach a game, we're looking at it from a totally different lens than the guys the people that we're surrounded by. So yeah, definitely about that. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about how we got where we are, as far as where you are in your coaching career. When did you first realize that coaching was something that you was passionate about?
And day one, I ain't really have a choice. Everybody in my family is coaches. My dad, my uncle, my cousins. That's kind of who we are.
Right,
And so I was around it so much that I knew first of all I had to play. I knew I had to play it. And then I knew that after playing it, I had to still stick around it. And so, growing up, and they put so many like of the focus on the game, focus on the little details, focus on the lessons and learning how to play and learning the right way to play.
right,
I
right,
just I knew that I had to stay around it. So once my playing days was over, I needed to feel like I was involved. And so for me, knowing that I was gonna be coaching, like I knew that was what I was gonna be doing from a very, very
right,
early.
right. Okay, okay. Yeah, it's kind of like, I tell people all the time, my experiences as a player helped me become the coach that I am. There's certain things that I expect from my players, the same effort that I give, that my coaches back in the day expected of me. There's certain things that I take from every coach that I played for and I implement today. There's stuff that I implement today that I got from my high school coach. And then there's some things that I got from my college coach. What are some of the things that translated from you as a player that's helping you as a coach?
The biggest thing, and it's funny, I was gonna ask you this while you was talking. The stuff that we implement, the stuff that's important to us now, we hated when it was time when we were playing.
Sure, for sure.
So like the little details, understanding like how important it is to not just bank on if you athletic, bank on your athleticism, or if
Huh?
if you can run fast, bank on your speed, or if you super strong, bank on that. Like now it's like all the little things like the effort. Yeah, you can't rely on just being strong or being able to out jump. You gotta be able to box out.
Yep.
You gotta be able to like know angles. You gotta be able to know all those things. For me, when I was a flashy player, like I felt like, if I crossed somebody over, this and the other, that was gonna be it. But that's cool, that's oohs and ahs, but that don't win you
Right.
games. That don't win you games. So right now, like I look at from when my coach told me, like, do the simple things and master the simple things. Master like how to make the extra pass, master how to make the fundamental pass or the right pass.
Right.
Speak. So now when I'm coaching, yeah, of course I'm still gonna be me. I still love like the flash, but
Yep.
you got to be able to master the little things. You got to be able to master the fundamentals. You got to master, the extra pass or boxing out,
Absolutely.
those things. And so for me, that's kind of where I start off. If you
Okay.
can't get to those things, then you can't get to the flash. You can't get to all those. So that's something that I took from, early on from my coaches, from we didn't have trainers, but from people that played basketball with us, the older people, the things that they showed us back then that we call, oh, y'all old. Those are things that I feel like make my coaching and make the player coached by me, make them better.
Right, right, for sure. Yeah, so it's like you say, man, the lessons that we learn as a player, you definitely, as a coach, you know what they expect, and you can kind of relate to the kids that you see are kind of flashy and doing a little bit too much. That's not really helpful for what they're trying to do. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So yeah, I definitely get your take on that. As an assistant coach, what are some of the things that you learned at the highest level? Being a college coach, there's certain things that you learn that obviously, being assistant, you had the opportunity to work under somebody that has been, at the collegiate level as a head coach longer than you. How does being assistant help you from, the coaches that you had the opportunity to coach under?
Well, as an assistant, you gotta, number one, you have to be able to understand what the head coach wants. You got to be able to know 100% what the head coach wants and be able to deliver that message to the players. You got to be able to, decipher their messages in a way that the players will understand, because like a lot of times your role is to help the head coach just be able to coach. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for me, as an assistant, I wanted to take care of all the little things. I wanted to make sure that, from an academic standpoint, everything was on point. From a early practice, everything was on point. From a practice plan, everything was on point. From
Yeah. Right.
everything. So as an assistant, you have to learn so much, and it's a lot. It's a tireless job, but those are the things that are necessary to prepare you for if you're blessed enough to get to sit in that other seat. And
Right.
so for me, I've learned from a lot of amazing head coaches that have an enormous amount of knowledge, wealth of knowledge. And so I just soaked it up and was able to, you know, pay close attention to what they were doing and understand where they were
Right.
and how they were doing it, and develop my own kind of identity, so to speak, inclusive of what they're doing, and just take that on to the next level. And so that's what I think a great assistant coach is. One that's able to understand the head coach, learn what they want to do, and be able to deliver that message to the players.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I really believe that, and I tell people all the time, even at the high school level, you're only as good as your assistant coaches. Your assistant coaches make the head coaches look great. The assistant coaches may not get any of the credit, but those people that know, it's one of those things. If you know that. Listen, if you watch one of my games, you look at the huddle. I may have a coach. I got a defensive coordinator. My defensive coordinator is when I turn to him, he should already have our defensive plan ready to go. If there's something wrong with our defense, I should be able to turn to that guy and he can tell me exactly, and then we can make an adjustment, together in that situation. Same thing, if I need a quick hitter or something like that, I got a assistant coach that's a master of quick hitters. Even though I can do it myself, it's just a matter of delegating, being able to delegate. And when you delegate, you definitely want to have coaches that you trust as an assistant, that you trust, that knows exactly what you need before you even ask for it. So yeah, I definitely get that as far as the assistant coaching part.
Yes, indeed.
So how did you feel, and what was your approach when you first stepped into the role as the interim head coach? Was it something that you felt that you had opportunity to take over the program if you did well, or did you feel like it was one of those things where you were just filling in the gaps until the season was over with? What feel did you have, and how did you approach that?
Well, when that first happened, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was completely nervous. You always think you prepared, you always think you're ready until you
Right,
get to show it. You know what I'm saying? And so that first game, when I got that tap on the shoulder, like, okay, you gotta do it. The first about 20 minutes before the game, I'm like, oh my God, what the hell is about to happen? But
right,
but the thing is, I trusted my preparation, and so you never you always prepare yourself so you don't got to get ready. You know what I'm saying? You're already ready, and so I'm always, and I think you and I are similar in this. We always learning, we always studying, we always trying to
have to. Yep.
figure out what we gonna do. And so for me, the biggest thing was I gotta make these young ladies comfortable, because yeah, I'm getting ready to have a change in who I am and what I've been doing, but they definitely
Absolutely.
have a change, because now I'm now the head coach. So now the message that they have been getting is gonna be coming from me now versus someone else.
Right,
And so the biggest thing was I was okay. If I'm nervous, then they gonna be nervous, because they mirror their coach. So I
right,
I gotta show that I'm confident and comfortable in what I'm doing, and I'm sure of myself, so that I can get the best out of them. And so, as time went on, as games went on, as practice went on, I realized, like, yeah, you know what? I'm okay. I can do this. And that's what happened. It was definitely a shock initially, but I've been praying for this, preparing for this for years.
Right.
And so, now I'm here. So I'm
Yes,
excited.
sir. Yes, sir. And I think one of the things that helped you with that transition was, the relationship that you built with the players as an assistant. They had 100% confidence in you moving forward. So that can be a huge lift as far as a confidence booster when you do step into a role like the head coach.
Definitely.
So yeah, yeah, that was definitely, like I say, God don't make mistakes. He don't make mistakes and put you in. He led you in a situation where you are today, and it's a blessing to be a head coach. I mean, I know when we talked when it initially happened, I know you didn't have you wasn't thinking that, at the end of the season that I was going to be that you was going to be the head coach. It may have been a 10%, but hypothetically, we talked about it. But as far as it coming to a reality, when it did, I was like, whoa, that's God is good. God is good.
Yeah,
You know what I
all
mean? So obviously, I feel like they made the right choice. I'm sure that the players feel like they made the right choice, and the administration, I'm pretty sure that they're confident they made the right choice. So I'm looking forward to seeing how things progress for you.
definitely. Definitely.
So, now that you're the head coach, what's your vision for the program moving forward?
So, well, I don't even know if you know this. It's we have now gone we are going from Division 1 to Division 3.
Okay, that's a big jump.
A huge jump. So right now, dealing with that, dealing with the portal. But I think for me, the biggest thing is relationships, building relationships. And so there's a wealth of talent in our area up here in Pennsylvania. And so I have just started like reaching out to the local high school coaches, trying to develop that relationship. I think the biggest thing is getting them comfortable with me, reintroducing them to St. Francis University. And so those relationships I think will help us be successful. The thing that we have that a lot of Division 3 teams and schools don't have is we got a Division 1 facility. We got Division 1 facilities. We have Division 1.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so the biggest thing now is just reintroducing ourselves to these local kids who may have felt like the Division 1 version of St. Francis was out of reach. So now, reintroducing them to the Division 3 version of St. Francis with the same Division 1 mindset, but we just Division 3. And so that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to do now. And that's something that I felt like will help us get over this hump, just those relationships.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with that, I'm sure that your recruiting budget probably reflects that of a Division 3 school versus Division 1 as well.
Yeah.
So how tough. So like you say, you got enough talent in the area. If you can retain a lot of that talent in the area, then you guys should be good.
Hmm.
What about tapping in? Do you think that you'll tap into some of your roots down in the Maryland, D.C. area, or even North Carolina?
Yeah, so my very first commitment is from Maryland, London Banks, a sharpshooter out of Maryland. And so, of course, I'm gonna go to my comfort zone in terms of
Uh-huh.
that Maryland, that DMV, North Carolina area. But I'm definitely gonna try to make sure this Pennsylvania area becomes my comfort zone too. So the biggest thing is just getting out there. I think the whole thing about recruitment is you have to give the student athlete, the school that you're recruiting from, you have to give them something that the other people have not given them. And so I think for me, it's just this relationship, a genuine relationship, letting them know, look, yeah, some people will say we coming here to recruit your kid. If we don't get that kid, we don't talk to you no more. And so that's not where I'm at. If I don't get you, I don't get you. But that doesn't mean I
Right.
won't one from next year or the year after that. So I'm just trying to develop those relationships, those strong relationships, and show them that I'm somebody that they can look up in the stands or look up in the classroom door and see me. And
Right.
so when those kids are like, "Well, what's going on with St. Francis?" At least they can say, "Well, Coach Ralph he always here. He's genuine. He's definitely a coach that's gonna take care of you and those things like that." So that's where I'm at with it right now. This is exciting to me.
I feel like if you coach it at the high school level, you have a kind of advantage as to how you want college coaches to approach you and to treat you as a high school coach and build those relationships. So you being a high school coach for that many years, you've been in contact with college coaches, and I'm sure you had some college coaches that you was like, "I'll never send a kid there." And then you
Yep.
have some college coaches that you probably was like, "Yeah, I'll send a kid there in a heartbeat." Matter of fact, you pick up the phone when you see kids that not only kids that play for you, but kids that you know in the area just to, just because of the relationship that that coach may have built with you as a high school coach.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. And that's the thing. Like you said, there are definitely coaches that I'm like, man, I ain't, because the thing with me is this. Like I'm not in it for, money or fame or none of that. My thing is I want to help these kids become the best version of themselves. And so that means you get the ones that play for me and the ones that don't. I want the best for them. I want to help them be able to take their rightful place in society. And the way that you do that is being genuine and helping them, period. And so for me, I'm big on that. I'm big on letting them know that I got their back. I'm gonna be hard on them, but I'm gonna also pick them up when that's necessary. So I
Yes,
think
sir.
I think that's what has helped me all along the way is just the mere fact that at the end of the day, if I call Coach Ralph, he gonna pick up the phone. If I have a Coach Ralph, he's gonna answer it, or he's gonna find an answer for me. And I know that he's gonna be honest with me and tell me what I need to hear rather than what I want to hear. And so
Yes, sir.
what I do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's one thing that I've always pride myself on is telling the truth. And you and I are a lot that way. We're alike that way. Because at the end of the day, the truth is gonna reveal itself. And if you haven't been truthful to your players, eventually, whether they like it or not, it may be 3, 4 years after they're gone from you that they understand what you were trying to do for them. But as coaches, we have to stick to that. And all so many times now in these days, you got people lying to these kids just because they want kids to stay. In the big time with the transfer portal, not just there's a transfer portal in high school just as well as it is in college, and there's college coaches just as well as high school coaches that will say anything to keep a kid with them. But and my mindset is if a kid doesn't want to be here, he doesn't want to be here. There's tons of kids that want to be here, and that's going to do it the right way. I feel like I saw a quote the other day from what's the name? I'm pretty sure that you saw the quote as well. What's the coach at North Carolina Central?
Lavelle Moden.
Lavelle made a quote the other day that I saw, and the quote was, "If you raise the bar high, the losers will leave. But if you lower the bar, the winners will leave." It doesn't matter where you set the bar. And that right there resonated with me and my coaching style. How do you feel about that? How does that resonate with you?
That resonates with me tremendously because the standard is the standard. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like he said, you raise the bar, the losers gonna leave. Well, me personally, I don't want losers around me. So
Exactly.
I want people that's gonna strive to meet that bar that might be high, that might be higher than they anticipated having to go. And so that's Lavelle Moten. That's why he's been so successful because of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like with me, I'm never going to dim the light. You know what I'm saying? I'm never gonna
Right.
lower the bar just for the sake of lowering it. Nah, we're not doing that. I want you to strive for greatness. And so my biggest thing is telling these kids get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And so sometimes when you raise that bar, that's going to take them out their comfort zone, but you can't grow in comfort.
Yes, sir.
Where you can grow is by challenging yourself and by getting out of that comfort zone. Yes, I love that quote. I love it. I'm gonna find it and post it on all my little.
Yeah, it's a great quote. When I saw it, I was like, "Whoa,
Yeah,
that if that don't sum it up, like that's I mean, and the timing of it in today's not just basketball culture, but
just period.
sports culture in general is perfect timing for that quote because it pretty much it sums it up. So, can you share a defining moment or a memorable moment in your coaching career to this point?
Well, I say there's been a couple, but the most memorable to this point, I would say, was my first Division One, coaching win. We were playing Central Connecticut at home, and I think this was probably my third game. Yeah, my third game taking over the program, and it was a huge game. Huge game for several reasons. It was huge because It was our last home game. We needed to win it in order to clinch a playoff berth. Also would have been our 400th win, NEC win, which, you know what I'm saying, no other team in the NEC conference has 400 regular season wins. So that was, and then we had a young lady, Malaya James, who was playing for her to gain her 1,000th point. So all those things were going on, and we were able to get the win. And so, you know, for that moment, I try to be all tough, but like it was surreal. It was crazy. You
Yeah.
know, our record wasn't good at all. And so for us to go through the stuff that we went through, have me be named the head coach,
Yeah.
don't really have a lot of practice time to kind of put in things and implement things that I like to do. And for them to be able to retain the stuff I was putting out there and be able to get the win, which was our playoff clincher, our 400, and the young lady scored her 1,000, and it'd be my first Division I win, coaching win.
Yeah.
My God, man, it was
Perfect
like,
moment.
that moment was crazy, and it was at home. And so, you know,
Yeah.
I'm talking about, I had the silly string, I had the coolers of water, I had all types of stuff going on. It was
Yeah.
that's a moment
Yeah.
that I definitely won't ever forget. And so that I say that's the most memorable moment coaching wise that I got.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's a blessing for sure. Speaking of blessings, how's Kennedy taking all of this in?
So
And what kind of relationship does she have with the girls, with the women on your team?
So today, before we got on here and I told you I had to go pick Kennedy up, she was in the dorm. She was staying
Yeah.
with some of the players. Like, she really feels like she's in college. I don't know who she thinks she is, but the St. Francis community has truly adopted her. She's part of the cheerleading squad, comma, part of the dance squad, comma, part of the she is excited, and the school she goes to here, they are so supportive. Her teacher's husband actually wrote the article when they named me the interim coach.
Oh wow. Okay.
Before
Okay.
they made me permanent. But I picked her up from school, and she was like, "Dad, they said you're famous." I said, "What are you talking about?" So she gets the news. They gave me this. They gave her the newspaper article that they wrote of me at the school.
Yeah.
So she's reaping the benefits of her dad being the coach.
Yeah.
You know, she thinks she's the girl, so to speak. So she's enjoying.
Yeah. That's got to be a great feeling to see it come full circle like that. Yeah,
Definitely,
for sure. For
definitely.
sure. Well, man, listen, that's all I got for you tonight, man. I appreciate you taking the time, brother, and you know what I mean, and I'm definitely gonna make my way up to check you out, man. And I'm always gonna be a fan of yours, and you know, I look forward to seeing you continue to grow at the collegiate level, and the future is bright for you, my brother.
Well, I appreciate it, and I'm not gonna put it completely out there, but you know what our thoughts are, what our goals are.
Yeah.
And so with me having this position, it's only a matter of time before, you know, we get to do what we said we was gonna do many moons
Yeah.
ago.
But I ain't forgot. I ain't forgot for sure. I ain't
Definitely.
forgot for sure, man.
As
You
you
know what I
say,
mean? Godspeed.
definitely, man, definitely. It's God's time, and we go get there. But I'm definitely a fan of you. You know, you doing your thing down there in the sunny state of Florida. I'm hating because we don't get that type of weather up here,
Oh
but
yeah. Yeah. What was the weather up there today?
oh no, it was scorching today.
Oh,
It
y'all
was
was straight?
it was 86 degrees a day,
Oh,
but
okay, yeah.
it's gonna
Okay.
it might be snowing tomorrow. That is yeah,
Sprinkles.
yeah, for real. So you know, but it's okay. So you got to come up here, check us out, man. Get in the gym with the girls, man. Spread some of that knowledge that you got. 'Cause, you
Yeah,
know,
man, for sure. For sure. We definitely gotta do that, man. It's been a long time, man. It's been a while.
yes,
It's been a
indeed.
while. But you know, like I say, I appreciate you, man. And like I say, this is I'm happy for you. I'm happy for your family, and good luck to you the rest of the way. And we'll be in touch soon. We definitely gotta get you back on the show once we get a little bigger than what we are. We definitely gotta get you back on the show.
Don't get too big and forget about the little people, man.
All right, my brother.
All right, man.
That's Coach Raphael McNeill, St. Francis University, head women's basketball coach. Make sure y'all check him out. Also, make sure if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like, hit that notification bell, and we're going to continue to do big things and bring on big guests like the one we had on tonight. All right. God bless. Peace. I'm out. Yo.